Have Ace Studio cracked the solo violin code? The solo violin is one of the hardest sampled instruments to get right, a holy grail that developers have spent decades trying to achieve. And at best, this has always involved giant libraries with tons of key switches and hours of careful playing and programming, ultimately for less than believable results. But what if you could just drag in your violin MIDI part with no controllers, no key switches, and you get a realistic sounding violin? Well, the people at Ace Studio have released a new AI violin that promises just that. Let's test it out and see if it lives up to the AI hype. But first, help support the channel. Like, subscribe, and share this video. Use my affiliate links to buy plugins, and you can also become a member or join my Patreon for exclusive perks. And check out my links for PBD merch. This video is brought to you by Ace Studio. They approached me to do a review, and once I heard the violin, I was happy to say yes. Go check out Ace Studio stuff in the links on screen or below. The first thing to know is that this is not a separate plugin or sample library you run inside your DAW. Ace Studio is its own standalone DAW, specializing in creating AI vocals for your music tracks, and it's the best I've heard of this type. I've been using mVoice for a few years for demo ideas, but Ace Studio is light years beyond that. And if you have a melody idea in your DAW, but no vocals, you can export that MIDI part and bring it into Ace Studio, and you can choose from any singer and type in your amazing lyrics.
Tell me a story. Tell me a story where we run off together and it's the rainy weather. Tell me a story.
And voila, you have a pretty realistic sounding vocal. These really are the best I've heard, and this interface takes no time to get to know. And you can freely swap singers from a huge library here.
Tell me a story. Tell me a story where we.
Again, my previous app for this wanted me to pay $30 to $60 per singer, so you get a lot of options here. And I have to say, this is honestly one of the easiest to use DAWs I've tried in a while. The interface is clean and clear, and I didn't even read the manual before I hooked it up for results. I just played around and figured it out. There's also an Ace Bridge plugin that allows you to work within your DAW and send your piano roll to Ace Studio. I have that hooked up here. And you do have to wait a couple seconds after you make changes, but I think it's worth it. This reminds me of working with Realism in the Rewire days. And you have no massive sample libraries taking up space locally. So the best way to demonstrate AI Violin's features is by playing a complex classical piece with lots of variation in bowing. Now, since I'm not a classically trained violinist, I'm going to grab a MIDI file from MuseScore for a Paganini piece. And I'll import this into Ace Studio. And I've got the AI Violin selected here already. Wait for it to render. I mean, wow, that is truly stunning. And to be clear, this is just naked MIDI. No controllers, no key switches at all. I mean, that's crazy. For comparison, this is the best I could do with my highest quality library, which is the VSL Synchron Suite. I'll compare it to AI Violin. And that's the level of solo violin I think we're all pretty used to. A massive compromise that maybe sounds okay on the odd marcato or staccato note, but it's not very convincing, even if you take the hours to manually key switch between articulation. It's a lot for little result. Here's another solo violin I had. I mean, that's just comical. Now, I'm sure a master with the very best libraries and incredible key switching skills could do a lot better. Most of us don't have access to four-figure libraries, nor do we have first-hand knowledge of violin playing. AI Violin changes all that. This is kind of like a democratization of violin playing. I think this demonstrates how strong AI Violin is for classical pieces. But it got me wondering, will it sound good in modern pop songs, where we might want a solo violin, or even an intimate small string section? I'm going to test this out in this old demo song here, where I had previously used the incredible Audio Bro LA scoring strings library.
I've looked so hard, but I can't find one good reason to leave you behind. Tell me how'd I come to find that our love wasn't enough. I don't want this to end, but I'm holding on to nothing, hanging on a moment that you're just looking past, and I'm praying for some.
The strings in this old mix are much bigger, but I think a more intimate solo violin would really work too. So I'll try that out with AI Violin. Now I'll export my old MIDI here. And I'll port those into Ace Studio. I'll assign the first violin to the main Gabriele Boschi violin. Oh, that's funny, I can't swap that out. Okay. Drag this up here. It's too bad you can't just trade it off with the vocal track, but this is in beta. And these other tracks, some of them were originally viola and cello. I'll just randomly assign them to other violins and see what we get. Alright, let's see what this sounds like. Need a little rendering time. So this was more of a staccato track originally, but it sounds good. I like it how it strains for that high note at bar 22. Sounds kind of realistic. And this is the part here that I think might sound good in the song. These sustained lines during the verse. Check out that vibrato. And the sheer variation between notes, without that static sample feel of your usual libraries. It's amazing. Okay, let's export these and bring them back into the Cubase project. Okay, let's check out that verse violin.
I've looked so hard, but I can't.
I'll level these off a bit.
One good reason to leave you behind. Tell me how'd I come to find that our love wasn't enough. I don't want this to end, but I've looked so hard, but I can't find.
And that sounds great. Really has that pensive emotion that only a solo violin can bring.
Leave you
I'm blown away by this. Obviously, it's very expressive and dynamic and needs a bit of mixing and automation. But to my ears, this sounds really good. And if I add the other violin parts, it starts to sound like a pretty believable small quartet. Again, these parts were written for a different string library, so I could even get better results if I brought this mix into Ace Studio and curated the MIDI to work with AI Violin's strengths. I'm going to do that and post the results to my member and Patreon feeds, so watch out for that. Check out the break here. In case you couldn't tell, I'm very impressed with AI Violin. If you want a realistic violin in your production, this feels like the only game in town right now, and this thing is in early beta. And that addresses my only concern. Right now, there is no way of controlling the articulations, vibrato, or legato, but Ace Studio promised that they're working on this, and will be rolling out those features soon. Plus, they're working on scores of other instruments, so if they're anything like this, they might be on the cusp of the most realistic orchestra out there. And of course, how much does this cost? So keep in mind this is a full DAW with a massive collection of voices and now instruments. It's not just a plugin like I'm usually reviewing. And I almost forgot, it also has voice cloning, voice changing, and stem splitting. The good news is you can purchase Ace Studio or rent to own it. It's not a subscription thing. They have two plans here, Artist and Artist Pro for $16.58 and $22 respectively. This is pretty affordable considering what you get. You could pay a lot more for a sample library, and the violin and vocals aren't going to sound as good. Or you can buy them outright for $398 or $528 for the Pro version. Again, cheaper than a lot of AAA sample libraries, but I admit it's a substantial cost. But they have a trial with a money-back guarantee, and I think this is an amazing solution for producers looking for vocals for their demo ideas, or to get the best digital violin in the world in your production. I'm frankly pretty excited about this one, and I hate AI shit. So go check it out. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below, and use my affiliate links to support the channel. Until next time, mix well.